Welcome to the City of Bakersfield Planning Commission meeting. This television broadcast is brought to you by the local cable companies, the County of Kern, and the City of Bakersfield. You can watch the rebroadcast of this meeting Saturday at 7 p.m. and Sunday at 10 a.m. You can download the agenda for this meeting at www.bakersfieldcity.us. Presiding over this evening's meeting, Chair Daniel Cater.
Good evening. It is my pleasure to call to order the February 6, 2020 Planning Commission meeting. Madam Clerk, would you please call the roll?
Commissioner Cater.
Here.
Commissioner Coleman.
Here.
Commissioner Bell.
Here.
Commissioner Bowers.
Here.
Commissioner Lomas.
Here.
Commissioner Rudnick.
Here.
Commissioner Wade.
Please stand for the Pledge of Allegiance.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you for attending tonight's Planning Commission meeting. This commission provides an opportunity for public participation in the development process throughout the City of Bakersfield. The Planning Commission considers a wide variety of projects, including subdivision maps, zone changes, general plan amendments, and much more. When applications are received, the City Planning Division analyzes the request. Planning staff will present the facts about the project, along with their recommendation to the Planning Commission, who will approve the item or make a recommendation as appropriate. Our goal is to carefully consider each project and make a decision that balances individual rights with public welfare and the general well-being of our community. We will now receive public statements. This time is reserved for anyone who wishes to address the Commission on any matter not on the public hearing portion of the agenda. Please note, if you are here for items 5A through 5B, this is not the time to speak. Does anyone in the audience wish to address the Commission? If so, please come forward and state your name. Seeing no public statements, we will now move on to consent calendar non-public hearing items. These agenda items typically involve housekeeping or administrative matters that do not require a public hearing. Does any commissioner wish to remove a consent calendar non-public hearing item for separate consideration? If not, may I have a motion to adopt staff's recommendation on the consent calendar non-public hearing items?
I'll make a motion to approve item 4A, accept the staff recommendation for approval of the minutes.
Thank you, Commissioner Coleman. May I have a second?
I'll second it.
A second, Commissioner Bowers. Commissioners, please cast your vote. Oh. How's Adam, is it roll call? It sounds like, let's do a roll call vote.
Commissioner Cater.
Yes.
Commissioner Coleman.
Yes.
Commissioner Bell.
Yes.
Commissioner Bowers.
Yes.
Commissioner Lomas.
Yes.
Commissioner Rudnick.
Yes.
Moving on to the consent calendar public hearing items. The next agenda section includes public hearing items that are considered routine or non-controversial. These items have been reviewed by the staff and are conditioned in accordance with the requirements of the municipal code. The planning director will read each item on the consent calendar to ensure that the public has an understanding of the items to be considered. If you would like to speak on an item, please come forward after the items are read and ask that the item be removed for discussion. If the item is not removed by a member of the public or commissioner, the commission will vote on all items in one motion without further comment. Mr. I'm sorry. Would you?
Thank you, Chair Cater.
Yes. May you please read the items on the consent calendar? Thank you.
There are two items on tonight's consent calendar public hearing agenda. Item 5A is an amendment to Title 17 of the Bakersfield Municipal Code, where there are proposed amendments to Title 17 relating to transitional and supportive housing. A notice of exemption is on file. And item 5B, Plan Development Review 19-0425. McIntosh and Associates is requesting a revised plan development review to allow, 1, change of use in building pads, and 2, reconfigure site development in the C2 PCD Regional Commercial Planned Commercial Development Overlay Zone District located in northeast corner of Panama and Ash. Notice of exemption is also on file.
Thank you, Mr. Boyle, and my apologies for stuttering on your name. Thank you. At this time, I will open all of the consent calendar public hearing items. Is there anyone in the audience who wishes to speak on a consent calendar public hearing item? Again, this is not the time to take testimony. Just ask that the item be moved to the public hearing portion of the agenda. Seeing no speakers in the audience, does any commissioner wish to remove a consent calendar public hearing item? Commissioner Coleman?
Yes, I'd like to, I noticed that Mr. Boyle had prepared a very lengthy presentation for item 5B, so I'd like to hear it. Thank you.
Thank you. Item 5B. All right. Oh, we will hear it when we move to the public hearing. We'll close on 5A first, unless any commissioner wishes to move 5A. Okay. Yes. And so at this time, the public hearing on consent calendar 5A, which is a referral back to staff on an amendment to Title 17 of the Bakersfield Municipal Code. May I get a motion to adopt staff's recommendation to refer item 5A back to staff to be heard at a later date?
I make a motion to take item 5A, refer back to staff as requested.
Thank you, Commissioner Bell. May I have a second?
I'll second it.
Thank you, Commissioner Bowers. Commissioners, please cast your votes. And please cross your fingers. Should we do a roll call again? All right.
Yeah.
Get your voices ready. We're doing a roll call.
Commissioner Cater,
Yes.
Commissioner Coleman,
Yes.
Commissioner Bell,
Yes.
Commissioner Bowers,
Yes.
Commissioner Lomas,
Yes.
Commissioner Rudnick.
Yes.
All right. We will now move on to the public hearing portion of the agenda. It is now time to hear item 5B move from that portion of the agenda onto the public hearings. Before we begin, I want to briefly explain how the hearing will be conducted. Staff will first give a more in-depth report on item 5B, then those in favor of the project will be allowed to speak. Those in opposition those in opposition to the project will have the ability to speak after those in favor have spoken. After favor and opposed, if there are both sides, each side will be given a 5-minute total time rebuttal period. Speakers may ask questions during their comments, but please note questions won't be answered until the hearing is closed. If you prefer, written comments on items may be provided to the clerk, who will provide copies to the commission. Please be respectful of others participating in the hearing by not repeating the remarks of previous speakers, presenting any new comments or thoughts in a concise and clear way. Mr. Boyle, will you please provide us your staff report on item 5B?
Thank you, Chair Cater. Our second public hearing item tonight is Plan Development Review 19-0425, which is a proposal to approve a revised Plan Development Review to provide for certain adjustments in an existing planned commercial development. Locationally, the project is located in the northeast corner of Panama and Ash, and this particular area of the community is significantly low-density residential. There is additional commercial development, kitty corner on the southwest corner of Ash and Panama. The general plan for the project area is general commercial, and the zoning, as noted in the title, is C2, Planned Commercial Development. And both the general plan and zoning are consistent with one another. Ordinance would call out that the planned commercial development overlay is intended to allow for innovative design of various uses, buildings, and open spaces while ensuring compliance with the intent of the municipal code. As we are here tonight, amendments to those planned commercial developments require PC approval. Let's take a quick look at today. This project is an actively developed project site. We have one building here that is along the Ash Road frontage, and a second building is on the interior of the site. I would note too, the consistency with the city's large developments or development standards, commercial development standards. It's a great example of a building with changes in articulation, changes in building materials, with arbors and highlights to the building fascia, and I particularly like the smooth stucco finish. It's very tastefully done. Also, there's construction occurring on this site as site prep continues in lieu or in anticipation of action by the council today, by the commission this evening. If you take the current approval and you place it into the site, you can get a good picture of what the project at completion was ultimately originally envisioned to look like. This is the approved site plan that was approved by the Planning Commission in 2018. And we're here tonight to look at some proposed changes to that PC approval. The project then, as in tonight's proposed changes, is in compliance with the city standards and policies, and no deviations from the zoning ordinance standards is requested at this time. Let's take a look at what those changes look like. There are essentially 4 specific buildings that are incorporated within the proposed changes. Building 1, which is a fitness center, is proposed to be increased in size. Building 5, there's a proposed change of use of the structure to an office type of use, and the size of the building is reduced by 300 feet, and the drive-through component is removed from this proposed redesign. Building 6 is a restaurant, and the restaurant square footage would be reduced by 35 square feet, and the drive-through component would be reconfigured. And lastly, Building 8 is a multi-tenant building, which is proposed to be increased by 225 square feet in total. The drive-through component in Building 6, we have some elevations for the commission this evening. It is proposed to be a Raising Cane's chicken type drive-through restaurant, and the elevations are consistent with and compatible with the overall development. And with that said, staff would recommend the Planning Commission approve the resolution and suggested findings approving Plan Development Review number 19-0425. That completes my presentation. I'd be happy to answer any questions you might have.
Thank you, Mr. Boyle.
Thank you.
The public hearing on this item is open. Is there anyone in the audience wishing to speak in favor of the project? If so, please step to the microphone, identify yourself, and proceed.
Good evening, Chair Cater, Commissioners, Director. Thank you for doing such a fine job reviewing the proposed application. My name is Patricia Newquist. I'm with McIntosh and Associates here in support of the application for revised plan development review on behalf of the developer, Panama and Ash LLC. I'm available to answer any questions that you might have. Oh, thank you. Patricia Newquist. Did everybody hear me? We good? Okay,
I think so. Yep.
thank you.
Thank you. Are there any other audience members wishing to speak in favor of the project? Seeing no additional speakers in favor of the project, I will move on to those in opposition to the project. Is there anyone here tonight wishing to speak in opposition to the project? Seeing no opposition speakers and a support comment available for questions, Mrs. King, may I suggest that we forego the rebuttal period as there's not a lot of
That's fine, Chair Peter.
Okay. And I will close the public hearing and return to commissioner comments and questions and thoughts altogether. Commissioner Coleman, would you? Oh. No, we've
All
closed
right.
the hearing. You can,
Okay, good deal.
you can comment and ask questions
All
at the
right.
same time.
I want to make sure Mr. Boyle gets an opportunity to properly defend his project. So on figure 2 on this staff report, I'm a little confused by this yellow line around there. This is site aerial, and you have a yellow line around the project, but it looks like where building 8 isn't even in this district. Like I'm not exactly sure why the whole parcel isn't part of that PCD. I'm sorry, that was figure 2. It's on, I think it's page 2 of your staff report.
Thank you for your question, Commissioner Coleman. In this case, is a cartographical error. The parcel or that appears to be not a part of, in which building number 1 would be located, is included within the PCD and is integral to the overall development.
Okay, thank you. The other question is, in figure, scrolling down, looking for the one with all the I'm sorry, this is figure 3B, the proposed sites. I remember you talking about building 1, building 6, building 8, but I don't remember you talking about building 5, which was highlighted in your presentation.
Building 5 is included as part of the requested amendment. It is the building where there's a proposed change of use, where it will be converted to office-type use, and it includes a small adjustment in size and a removal of the drive-through in light of the change of use.
What was the use before, a restaurant?
I believe it was a
You got
drive-through
drive-throughs,
restaurant
yeah, okay.
use, yes.
All right.
Yes, sir.
Okay. I have no further questions, thank you.
Thank you. Are there any other commissioner questions or comments? Seeing no additional questions or comments, may I have a motion?
Seeing as I pulled it off the consent calendar, I'll make the motion to approve item 5B and accept the staff recommendation for approval.
Thank you, Commissioner Coleman. May I have a second?
I'll make the second.
Commissioner Bowers. Commissioners, please cast your votes. We're back in business.
Motion passes with Commissioner Wade absent.
Thank you. Moving
Madam
on.
Secretary, could you just do a roll call just because it's not showing on the screen?
There it goes.
Okay. That concludes our public hearing portion of the agenda. Moving on to communications. Mr. Boyle.
I would note that you all received communication on Saturday as it relates to former Planning Director Kevin Coyle's resignation. I would only add that the city will miss his contribution here at the Planning Department.
Thank you. And I will add a commissioner comment that I think I speak for all the commission. We will miss him as well and wish him all the best of luck in his future endeavors. On communications, do we have next?
If I could interject, thank you, Chair.
Oh.
I have one other item to report, and
Yes.
that would be that there will be no Planning Commission meeting on the first meeting in March. Pardon me, second meeting in February, the 20th.
So February 20th will be canceled. Okay. All right, thank you. With that, I will move on to commissioner comments. Commissioner Coleman.
Thank you. At a meeting, a couple meetings ago, and I don't remember exactly which meeting it was, we had asked staff to review our noticing procedure and to report back to the commission on how that works and how it might be improved. That was subsequent to a little hiccup with noticing on the projects out in the northeast part of the town.
Thank you, Chairperson Commissioner Coleman. We will prioritize a workshop to be scheduled at an upcoming Planning Commission and bring a full discussion of noticing requirements to the Commission for your digestion.
Thank you.
Thank you. Seeing no additional commissioner comments, I will adjourn the meeting at 5:51.